Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with setting up our Git repository for our project. First thing we need to do, of course, is sign in to GitHub, github.com, and go to our account. Now, I'm going to set this project up as though it is iop-xxx and treat everything global so that we can use this video for all classes setting up a repository. Hopefully, by the time you're done the web development program, this will be old hat for you. We're going to go ahead up to plus, and we're going to say new repository. The way that we're going to create this repository is you'll select your user, and we're going to name this repository IOP- I'm going to put XXX. You, of course, will put whatever number it is, 1XX, 2XX, 3XX, 4XX, 5XX, 6XX, 7, so on and so forth. Beautiful. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a description in here as well. We want the description to identify what the repository is for, and so what you're going to put in is web dash, and then if it were web 115, you would put web 115 where it says course number, and then you would also put the course name there as well. And then you'll put inside out project IOP, and then the step number. So if you're in web 115, it'd be 1XX, so on and so forth. JavaScript 4XX. PHP 2XX, so on and so forth. Refer to the reference key to fill in these numbers if you need help. The next thing we're going to do is make sure that our repository is public. We want to make it accessible to everybody, to all of us, so that we can help each other and access each other's code. We want to initialize our repository with a README file. This is where we'll keep information about our repository, about changes that we make to our repository to keep others updated. Additionally, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a gitignore file to our repository right away. The way that we'll initialize it is we'll just go after a WordPress initial gitignore file, and we'll do more with that later, and we'll get that taken care of. But what that'll do right now is ignore Git files. If you need WordPress files, to learn more about that, please just go ahead and explore gitignore outside of this lesson. I'm going to create the repository, and at this point our repository has been created. Now that our repository has been created, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a new step here, and not new step, but we're going to move on and we're going to do a little bit of configuration and setting up of our repository. First thing we're going to do is go to our settings, and under our settings you can see this is where you can rename your repository, and you can do several different things in here that we're not going to cover at this point. What we are going to do is set up our GitHub pages. The reason we're going to set up our GitHub pages is because this actually gives us a reference point to see what's going on in our site. And the way that we do that is we set the source to our master branch in our repository. By setting the source to our master branch, what will happen when this is created, it will allow us to see whatever the results are of that master branch that is currently in our repository. We'll go ahead and click save, and at this point we now have this created. There's a chance that it'll show, but usually it takes a little while for it to show, so don't worry about that if it hasn't. But what we want to do is we want to go ahead and copy the link address of the GitHub pages. We'll scroll up and go back over to code. Now that we're back in code, what we want to do is we want to take that link that we copied, and you can see our README file becomes available down here to see everything. We want to go ahead and take that link that we copied from our GitHub pages, and we want to go into our README file, and we want to go ahead and edit it. And what we're going to do is just go ahead and paste that link right into our README file so that anybody wanting to preview what we're doing is able to click on the link from the README file and go see it. When you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see that you could actually create a new branch if you wanted to, or commit it directly to the master branch. In this case, we're just going to put updated README file with GitHub Pages link. And that's all we need to do there, and we're going to commit it directly to our master branch by hitting commit changes. The result of that is now you can see that we actually have that link here and available, and we don't have to go looking for it. Somebody can click on it and they can see what's going on, and you can see at this point that my GitHub pages are ready for me to use. When there is no HTML, it will pick up the README file, and that's what it will display. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to update that gitignore file that we created. Do that by clicking back out to our files so we can see them. Come in, click on our gitignore file, and we can see that all the WordPress files, folders and directories and files have been added when we created the file. And what we want to do is go ahead and make a few more entries in here. And what those entries are is we want to prepare for if we ever open our project, our repository inside of Dreamweaver or inside of Atom. To further explore these, outside of this lesson, you can go and look at the updates. But what they are is they're different configuration and system files that these systems use, these IDEs, text editors use, that we do not want stored in our GitHub repository. So now that we've done that, and a link is supplied in the lesson to this file where you can come and copy these changes. So at this point, what we want to do is just put in a comment, added IDE/text editor ignore files and folders. And we're going to go ahead and commit that directly to our master branch as well. And we can see that they were added. We come back out to our repository, we can see the last change, and we are good as far as that goes, as far as our ignore file goes. At this point, we've completed setting up our repository for our project, our GitHub repository, and you can move on to your next step.